Welcome to the very first episode of the Ryse Strong podcast, episode numero uno for those of you who are multilingual. I'm your host, Lola Bradbury, your backstage correspondent for all things Ryse Wrestling. Shout out to our friends and partners at IndyWrestling.us for hosting this podcast and helping a girl out. Ryse Wrestling is just coming off of celebrating its 2-year anniversary, and one of the most anticipated matchups, 18 years in the making of the night, was Brandon K, Ryse's owner, versus Super Hentai. And things didn't really exactly go according to plan for that match. And so on the other end of the Skype call is waiting to kind of share his side of things is the legend, the Pittsburgh independent wrestling legend, Mass Aggression, Super Hentai. Thank you for sitting down with me.
Hey, thanks for sitting down with me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Lola.
Oh, of course. I know you have history all around, and the very first thing that I have to ask is, how are you feeling coming off of Ryse's 2-year anniversary and also your Ryse debut?
I'll tell you what, Lola, I'm actually a little disappointed. I waited well over a decade for my rematch with Brandon. I was very excited to make my debut at Ryse. The fans out there are great. The locker room is awesome. And Brandon, he's a class act. And I really thought people had high expectations for that match, as well as Brandon and myself. And only for them to be spoiled by Shirley Doe in the Grindhouse. So as far as I feel emotionally, my emotions are running high in terms of disappointment thanks to the Grindhouse.
Now, you've been wrestling almost close to 20 years now, longer than I've been alive. Sorry to make you feel old.
Yeah, I actually just celebrated 20 years back in November. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'll tell you what, I've been all over the place. And I met my goal when I got in was to wrestle in Japan. I got there 2 times, and yeah, my body feels like it's been about 40, but mentally it feels like it's only been about 5. So it sort of averages out at the end of the day.
With the 20 years that you've been in the business, you have history with both Brandon K and Shirley Doe. It's under my belief that Doe helped you get into training originally when you first started wrestling?
That's correct, Lola. He actually did. He was my first trainer here in Pittsburgh. He got me started, and he was a way different guy back then. I'm not going to lie, I give credit where it's due, and he taught me a lot about this business. Respect, discipline, and otherwise. And I will give, like I said, I'll give credit where it's due. I appreciate everything he did for me then, but 20 years is a long time, and that is not the same man that broke me into this business back in 1997, 98.
Being that you said that he has become this totally different person than what you've known, what has your relationship been like with Shirley from all the way back then to the Shirley Doe that myself and the Ryse fans know now?
Well, back then, late 90s, up until about mid-2000s, I could go to him for any advice I needed. He was always the voice of reason, if you can believe that. He helped me. He helped me week in and week out. He trained with me many years. We would go to the ring together and train together. And like I said, I sought out advice from him for many years. And then we sort of our wrestling paths sort of went a separate direction at a certain point. And when I linked back up with him, tried to, some years later, he just seemed more cynical, just darker, just not the trainer that I knew. Like I said, when I first got in, and even up to about 2005, 2006, it just was not the same guy. And I don't know what clicked in his mind to turn him the way he is now, but there's something dark there, and I can't place a finger on it, and there's no talking to him. I tried to reach out to him many times in the past couple years, and he just would give me excuses that he's too busy. He just wouldn't even return calls or emails or texts. So I don't know what's going on there, but the locker room should be on notice because he is He's very dangerous these days. His second wind is not a happy one here in wrestling. So.
How you said the locker room should be on notice. Grindhouse has become, in a way, notorious for ruining Ryse's fans' dreams and phenomenal past main events at Ryse. So do you think you just happened to be in his way, or do you think he had a specific reason for intervening in your match with Brandon a couple weeks ago?
I feel that since that match was getting such high publicity, that if he wanted to ruin the fans' night, why not ruin a high-profile match for the company? So who's he gonna ruin? It's gonna come down to either a title match or an attraction match, such as Brandon and myself. And so I guess he picked us as his target, and I feel that that's just what he wanted to do. He just likes to ruin the fans' good time if he can, and just get in wrestlers' heads. Plus, like you had mentioned, I made my debut at Ryse. I had never been there before, so what better way to welcome me into the locker room and to those fans than by him and his henchmen attacking me and attacking Brandon too.
Do you feel like he's not taking you as seriously as he should?
I feel that he has. Once he sets his mind to something, and I feel this has not changed. Once he sets his mind to something, he is hell-bent on making it happen. So in terms of taking it seriously, I think I don't think that's the case. I think I should take him seriously and the Grindhouse seriously as to what kind of threat they are to Ryse, to Brandon, to that locker room as a whole. And if they weren't on notice, they are with me. They are now. So,
speaking of on notice, I can't believe this. Oh my God, I don't know how he just sent me a message to give to you. I don't know how he knew we were recording. I quote. He said, "The movie is not over yet."
Listen, Lola, I don't know what this man is up to. I don't know what his intentions are exactly, what this end game is. But Brandon and I are set for a rematch on January 5th, and I'll be damned. Brandon and I will be damned if he has a repeat performance that he did at the second anniversary show. That's very cryptic, and I'm not. Your head has to be on a swivel when you're dealing with Shirley Doe. And with his henchmen, it makes him 10 times deadlier than I've ever known him before. Something needs to be investigated there, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not. We are not having a repeat performance.
It's very chilling, if you could put it even that lightly.
Well, listen, after we record, I'm going to contact Brandon and see what steps could be made to try to isolate those guys and just try to get to the bottom of that. I don't even know how he got a hold of you.
I don't know.
It's not coincidental. This is not coincidental.
To kind of change subjects, I guess, if that's even possible on a lighter note, you and Brendan have been, competitors against each other, but you've also been teammates. What was your very first meeting with Brandon K like?
You mean in ring or just in general? Meeting him?
In general, I think.
First time?
Yeah.
In general, I'll tell you what, it was. I watched him. He debuted the same year I did, but he debuted several months before me. And I would go to the shows, and to me, he was the standout on the shows, just because I could relate to him. He was one of the smaller guys on the roster, but his heart was the size of Texas. He had tenacity. He had agility. He could do all the moves. He could do the high flying. And I had instant respect for him from day one. So when I actually met him, I voiced that. I told him how much respect I had for him, and that, hopefully down the road we could possibly wrestle each other just to get a barometer to see get a gauge of where I was. Just, it was instant respect, and it has not changed since that day I met him.
18 years down the road, did you ever expect to cross paths again?
You know what? 18 years down the road, I didn't expect to be wrestling by any stretch. Honestly, every wrestler that's been around this long can say that they got a laundry list of injuries. But I honestly did not think in my wildest dreams that I'd ever be getting back in the ring with him after so many years. And one of his finals or whatever the case is, that is a true honor because I hold Brandon in the highest respect in terms of local wrestling, Pittsburgh scene, Western Pennsylvania, the tri-state area. To me, he's one of the best out there doing it, and one of the best to never get signed. Let's put it that way. And someone like that, it's almost surreal to get back in the ring, to get another shot with someone like that. And so, yeah, no. The answer is no. I did not ever think that I would be, and it's an absolute honor to get in the ring with him one more time. So,
I absolutely cannot believe Shirley.
That was the only message you got, right?
No. He said that they demand equal representation for, I guess, the podcast.
I'm sorry. Say that again?
They demand equal representation.
What is...
I don't know.
Are they outside your window? What are they doing? Do they have this tapped? I don't understand what's going on here. This isn't even set yet. This isn't on to the public. This isn't live. Understand how they're getting this information right now.
I don't know. I'm afraid if we go any longer, I don't know what they're gonna do. So, excuse me. This is... So before your rescheduled singles match with Brandon on January 5th, hopefully nothing will happen like December 1st. But is there anything that you would like to say to the Ryse fans, Brandon, Shirley?
Yeah. To the Ryse fans, thank you for accepting me into your family, into your Ryse home. I never felt more welcomed in my inaugural match in any organization than I did there. It was a great honor, and I thank you, and I am very much looking forward to entertaining and wrestling in front of you, the fans, at least one more time. Brandon Kay, I am eagerly awaiting this rematch, and I cannot wait to get in that ring and hear that bell ring to go one-on-one with you and finally get that rematch that I've been waiting for well over a decade. And to Shirley Bill in the Grindhouse, I don't know what your intentions are. I don't know how you know this recording's even going on and what you're even thinking. But if you have any kind of humanity left in you from that man that trained me all them years ago, you not interfere with that match on January 5th at Ryse between Brandon Kay and Super Hentai. If you want to test the waters afterwards, then so be it. But from bell to bell, you let Brandon and I do our thing, and then if you think you got what it takes, you can come down afterwards, and then we, as in Brandon and I, can do our thing to the Grindhouse.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing this uninterrupted rescheduled rematch. So again, thank you so much for sitting down with me. Hopefully we can sort things out afterward, and thank you again.
Thank you, Lola, and good luck. You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.